Hi, Michael here, and in this video journal I'll start working on bracing the top that I finished up in the last video journal. I will be using my modified X bracing pattern, and later on I'll tell you about how you can get a copy of the cut sheet for all these braces. Keep watching. Well, with the top trimmed down to its 1.5 inch oversized shape, I've went ahead and transferred the lines to the back side, and now it's time to lay out where the braces are going to go. The easiest way I found to do that is just to go ahead and lay my template right here, fold it in half, lay it on the top, and then just go ahead and place my braces according to the plan. I don't really like to draw lines on the top where it's going to be maybe seen if I don't get them all out of the way, so I just go to the ends and mark. Okay, well there's my brace locations marked on the top, just on the outside. Now what I need to do is take these braces and start putting the arch or the radius on them. I have marked center lines on them, and I've gone ahead and marked the 30-foot radius. So now I need to go ahead and take them over to the disc sander, and then I'll put them on the radius dish and fine tune them. Well, I've sanded the majority off the edges of my top braces for the 30-foot. Just go ahead and put some pencil marks on the bottom here so I can see where I'm going. Well, with my X braces arched on the bottom, and I've sanded the sides down to get rid of any little pencil marks or any saw marks that might be left on them, it's time to go ahead and start working on the X brace joint. So I'm going to just place one of the braces right here. I'll kind of mark the center where it meets. I'm going to make a line right there. Get a brace on it. Cover up the pencil mark. And there's my other line. Now I only want to cut halfway through this brace, so I've taken my little engineer square and have it set. Okay. Cut this piece out. Okay. Alright, so the arch side is down. And then make sure I've got my sides here. This way we can see it. And once again, I'm going to leave the line. off the line. Okay, there's our X-brace. With my X-brace just fitted together, I haven't glued it yet, I want to go ahead and just kind of double check my arch on the bottom by putting it as it's assembled on my radius dish and just sanding it. I had pre-marked it with some pencil lines and they're all gone, so that's good. That's the next step. With my X-brace back on my template, before I glue it together and then do the final arching of the bottom, I want to go ahead and pre-taper it a little bit so it's not so hard to carve later on. So I have some templates here of my sculpting. Alrighty, there we go. Okay, with my X-braces tapered and oriented in the correct position, I can go ahead and glue them up now. Alright, right. Well, the X-brace is dry, so I've taken and put some marks on the bottom of it to fine-tune the radius on the bottom side. And I've got the bottom radiused now, and it's flush right here at the joint. I've also taken it and put it on a flat sanding board, just to make the joint on the top smooth. Now when I was cutting out the pre-sculpting on the braces, I saved this little piece right here that came off of this brace, which is the one that goes underneath. And I'll be using it to make a little cap that fits right there. Since it's the exact same grain, you'll hardly ever notice it once I get it installed. So save that piece and put it aside. Now that I've gotten the X-brace put together, there's a couple more things that I want to do before I start installing it. One is I want to go ahead and fit my bridge plate. Just simply slide this piece of rosewood in here and then go ahead and mark it. While I'm at this stage too, I'm going to go ahead and cut a board that I'm going to use as my sacrificial board when I drill the machine head holes all the way through. And I can do it the same way. Well, before I start gluing braces on, I want to go ahead and radius the bottom of my bridge plate. And I'm going to take a little piece of tape and stick it to the top. And it gives me a little something to hold on to. And I'm going to go ahead and take a blue pencil and kind of chalk up the bottom of it. All right, got it radiused. Now I can start to glue the X-brace on. Well, with my top sanded down and then the brace locations marked on that 1/2 inch outline around the side of the top that I won't be using, and my X brace ready, let's go ahead and start placing it by using the marks that I made on the edge. So, I'm going to position that brace by my marks. And the center of my X brace should be about 1.5 inches from the sound hole. Okay, so we're 1.5 inches from the sound hole. It's not going to be easy to place this glued up X brace on this top without it swimming around. So I've made these little clamps. I've shown them before. I call them tugs. If y'all got some better names for them, put them down in the comments below. And I'm just going to place them up against the X brace. In 4 locations. Okay. I've already taken my feeler gauge and gone over the brace to make sure that I'm getting good contact all the way around. I know that some people will glue these X braces on unassembled. They'll glue one side on and then glue the other side on. And that's fine. That's just not how I do it. And with it glued up or glued on, just take it and push it against these 2 tugs, hold it against these 2 tugs, and then the back 2 tugs. And then push straight down and kind of hold and pull back so that I'm snug against these 4 tugs. And when I put my first scroll bar on, I'm going to position it so that it's actually pushing back in the direction that I want the brace to stay in. And then go ahead and put some pressure here on the outside. I'm going to show you how these little straws work. That one bent on me. Good. I have my upper face brace ready to drill the hole through it, which will be the access to the truss rod. And that's a 5/16 of an inch hole that I want to drill as close to the bottom as I can get without actually cutting through. Okay, there we go. Well, with the X brace and the lower face braces and the finger braces glued on, it's time to start working on the braces that are actually flat on the bottom and not radiused. That would be my upper transverse brace and the upper transverse graft. I've turned my radius dish over so it's flat, and I've got my upper face brace and the upper transverse graft ready to glue on. And my go bars will put little dents in this piece of spruce, so I'm going to use a little piece of leather as kind of a clamping caul. The upper face brace has been glued on long enough now so I can take these go bars off and start working on the upper transverse graft. Okay. Move this one on. Okay, get ready to go ahead and glue on the upper transverse graft. Okay. Just let that glue dry on that and go from there. Well, I'm down to the last few braces on this top. I've got to do the sound hole braces. The sound hole braces, there are two different shapes. One are these two braces like this, which fit on the left and the right side of the sound hole. And then this sound hole patch that's at the bottom that kind of mirrors the bridge plate. These braces are arched on the bottom to the 30-foot radius, and I've fitted them in between the X braces and the upper transverse brace. Well, the sound hole braces are dried, so it's time to go ahead and take the go bars off. All right, here's the top braced.
Well, the top is braced. I've got all the braces glued on. The next step will be carving the braces and sanding them down to make the top as responsive as possible. You can see it's real tight. So we've got a lot of carving and stuff to do. That'll be next.
Well, that concludes this video journal on bracing the top. I've got my modified X braces all glued on, and the next step is going to be to make the top as responsive as possible by doing some carving and sanding. Don't forget you can get a free download of all the braces and the sizes that I used in this build, as well as a little picture of the bracing pattern. There's a link down below where you can get that. If you'd like to support the channel, there's also a link down there where you can buy me a coffee. Thank you all so much for watching.